Good morning, it's your boy Trevor David Jones, and as you can see, I done switched up the location a little bit. I'm actually out here in beautiful and highly elevated Monterrey, Mexico. So my videos will, they'll probably be here for a little bit. But yeah, man, this is a video about Miss Marvel episode 6, the finale of the series. So let's jump right in. Okay, Miss Marvel episode 6, titled No Normal. Marvel still got it, all right? So let's start with the positives. So let's jump ahead to when Kamala finally encounters Bruno and Kamran. That was a great scene. Kamran was leaned up for most of the episode, most of the first part of the episode, so we're gonna kind of run by that. But when Kamala finally shows up, there were a couple things that stuck out. A, she was legitimately doing some training with her time with the Red Daggers because her movement game was on fleek. She was jumping on the disc. She was even showing shades of Spider-Man when she came down that pole. I was like, yo, this is actually legit. And secondly, that suit. Marvel knows how to do suits. I might even do a video on that one day, Marvel suits, because they're all just so legit, man. Spider-Man, Iron Man, Thor's black suit in Infinity War. Like, these are timeless outfits, and Kamala was no different. Yo, the lightning bolt suit, the Pakistani stitching, yo, like, yeah. Marvel knows how to do suits. They know how to get you hype, and this was no different. When she showed up in the full regalia, like, hey, this is what I do, I was very impressed. I mean, that was definitely a highlight of the episode. So when they got to the school infiltration, that was a great part of the episode as well. And anyone in my age group knows, even like a little younger, anytime you see someone like setting up traps or some sort of devices to like fight someone or do something in like a home/office building setting, you always think of Home Alone. You're always gonna think of Home Alone, and this was no different. It had those Home Alone elements. They're setting up like, home traps to fight like, government operatives. And to their credit, it worked. So yeah, that was always good to see that Home Alone is still alive and well in cinema lore. Yes. But on the case of that, I've said in previous reviews that this series actually has high stakes. And this episode was no different. Like, the damage control operatives were actually trying to kill those kids. Like, that was kind of freaking me out a little bit. Like, the lady's operative, her supervisor, told her, like, yo, obviously you need to relax, you need to shut this whole operation down. But, like, she wasn't even going there trying to capture them. Like, she was trying to kill all of them. None of them had graduated from even high school. So that was, like, it was kind of an unsettling part of the episode. But, like many episodes before in the series, it has very high stakes. And I like that Marvel keeps going with that theme. So, as Kamala has to fight back against all the operatives, she starts to show what kind of power she really has. So, I mean, I brought up before, she has the Negabands. So anyone who knows anything about comics or that like area of the lore, you know what level she's on. This is high power. And the Negabands, they showed it. When she finally figured out how to armor up, she's essentially bulletproof. None of those bullets did anything to her, so she's like legit. And they shouted out for all the comic book fans out there, when she leans low, when she gathered her strength together, she's like, I can do this, and said, "Embiggen," yo, almost threw my computer out a window. That's a line straight from the comics, and those are her powers from the comics. She says "Embiggen" to, like, make her fist big, or just actually grow bigger, which is one of her main powers. Man, Marvel knows how to sprinkle those little additives in there, no GMO, to just like make things so dope. And they did it once again. So, her and Kamran enter the shell that she creates in order to stop his, powers, and she talks him down. And like, man, that actually brings it up to twice Kamala has saved the world during one series. First against Kamran's mother, actually, so she's, kind of defeated the clandestine twice, and then against Kamran, both with words, actually. Incidentally, she didn't like box up to fight either one of them to defeat him, but she did it. That's interesting. But yeah, because he was gonna just keep expanding those powers until who knows what happened, but she stopped him. So Kamala legit saved the world twice in one series. What's not to love about that? Between the Negabands, her powers, their ability to like cross between dimensions, her strength, they're really setting her up to be one of the more top tier characters in the MCU. So I'm excited to see where she goes. And at the end, well, we're gonna get to the ends a little later, but at the end when she was sitting on the light post, man, I almost shed a little tear, because that's a shout out straight from the comics as well. The Jersey City, just like kind of like growing up, trying to make it vibe, sitting on that light post with her back, to the camera. That's Miss Marvel 101. and they threw that in there. It was the exact shot. Marvel's done that a few times in Civil War, you know, a few other properties, so it was good to see that make it in there. And it was a very fitting end to the series. So, room for improvement. Not too much. Not too much at all. I personally wish the series had gone beyond 6 episodes or made some sort of surprise, because they haven't done that since WandaVision. WandaVision was actually 9 episodes. And it was cool because we didn't know what the formula was, or that there even was a formula. So every episode we're like, you know, is it going to end? Is it not? Is it, you know, you didn't know what was going to happen. And that added this great element of surprise to it, like real suspense. You don't even know if there's going to be another episode. So, yeah. It'd be cool to see Marvel break out of the 6 episode formula, but you know, this is cool. It did what it did, and they're doing their, you know, their 6 episode miniseries thing. Okay, so as I do at the end of any series or movie, I also go over the best actor, who held it down the most. And for Miss Marvel, it's got to go to Iman Vellani. She held it down, man. Like, there's nothing else to say about it. From top to bottom, she was the anchor and also just the best actor in the series. As is gonna be legendary at some point, actually is legendary now. We all know the story. She got the audition text from WhatsApp from her grandma, and it was like super sketch, like, you know, Pakistani American and female in such and such age group, send your demo reel and you know, resume or headshot to such and such, blah blah blah. Didn't know what it was. She ended up doing it, got the role, found out about it on her last day of high school. You know, had grown up already liking Marvel, had only been acting for 18 months. So like, this is a legendary story, and you know, she's not just a hack. They threw into the episode. She's legit, man. Like, man, her emotional variety, her just ability to just command the camera, to show emotion, it was good, man. And she easily deserves a standout actress. Again, like any Marvel series, I can't say anyone was like a weak link in the chain. Bruno was great. Both her parents were hilarious. The mom and the dad were good. Her brother was solid. The villains, they were all good. Cameron, the Red Daggers. This is Marvel. They're gonna put the best actors for those roles, really the best actors kind of in the industry in these parts, and this was no different. But among them, Iman Vellani stood out. She did a great job. She was the best actress in this series. Okay, so as I started with Thor, I also do the end credits at the end of any series or movie, so here we go. End credits 1, the mutation. Yo, Marvel still got it, okay? I'm gonna say that right now. Marvel still got it. Because as things were, you know, progressing, Doctor Strange, Thor, a few of these series, you wonder, like, we had the mystique of all the Avengers and everything coming together, you know, making this like thorough plot line. Even just the excitement, like getting your heart racing over revealing these crazy details throughout the series. That was what made Marvel what it was. That's what made these movies what they were. And it just seemed to be like not present a little bit in the more recent things. But Miss Marvel showed me, not just from the production, from the show itself, from the acting, the visual effects, the end credits, the little additives they throw in there, no GMO, it showed me that they still got it. Bruno's like, hey, there's actually some extra in your DNA. I ain't talking about no gin, there's something extra, okay? And I'm like, even when he was saying it, I was like, I thought he was gonna go the Inhuman route because that's what she is in the comic. I still didn't know where they were going with that. And he's like, it looks like some sort of mutation. Come on, man. Like, who can do that? Who? Marvel. Marvel can do that. I've been reading these comics since I was a kid. I done came up, I'm watching the shows. And I'm telling y'all, they still got it. Like, that part was actually insane. It was insane. And they did the music in the Pakistani, like the tinge too. They still got it. It hit my heart like the old moments when, like, you know, Nick Fury showed up to Tony Stark at the end of Incredible Hulk. Like when, you know, they revealed the Winter Soldier locked up in the arm thing at the end of, what movie was that? Thor 2? I can look up what movie it was. But they still got it. And shout out Bruno, because apparently this dude's like a top tier geneticist. Why is he even in high school? He had the body scan device in episode 2 where he knew Kamala's powers, and now he can like analyze DNA well enough to see like there's a specific mutation in someone's genetic code. Like, how old is he? Bro, this dude's like Hank McCoy. Like, Put him on the X-Men. Yeah, Bruno is actually legit. The only thing he actually couldn't seem to quote-unquote figure out was interdimensional travel in the course of the series, but I'm gonna give him a pass for that. I mean, what are you gonna do? He couldn't figure out how to travel between dimensions. And actually, he did figure it out, but he said you need the baseline energy of the sun, and it was incredibly dangerous. So, at any rate, that was the only thing he didn't complete. But Bruno, that man's holding it down. Seeing someone's genetic code, identifying actual traits of it, legit. But yeah, in credit scene 1, so Kamala's a mutant, an X-gene mutant. They can do anything. I've talked about this before, I've said it before, that actual scene in Doctor Strange is where it really got kicked off. They can do anything now, and they will. Any character can be introduced just because of that scene. It had, Professor X, Sir Patrick Stewart. This is, yeah, they're deep in the game now. But that first end credit scene shivers through my body because it was crazy to show me Marvel still got it. But then if you didn't have enough, if you weren't done, if you needed a little more razzle dazzle on the cupcake, they dropped the end credits too, bruh. Come on now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That end credits 2 was ridiculous. Like, stop playing with me. Like, stop playing because it was crazy. Kamala's just doing her thing, walking around wearing her nega band as usual. Oh, life's good. And gets, like a little feeling, I guess, and sucked into another dimension. And who pops out? But in the short sleeves, Brie Larson herself, Captain Marvel, Infinity Stone powered. Almost lost my mind. Because, like I said, when it was, Tony Stark at the end of Incredible Hulk or the reveal of Winter Soldier and the arm thing, these are things that you actually do not expect. That's what makes it different. That's what shows me Marvel still has it. Because let's say at the end of Thor, they revealed Hercules during the end credits 1. That was cool. But I was looking for Hercules during Omnipotent City. When they pulled up with the stick, I was like, yo, it's Zeus, it's Hercules. He's obviously gonna be in the movie. What's good? All right, y'all. Yeah, good morning. So, but they saved it for the end credits. That was cool. I couldn't hate too hard on that. But it was something you expected because they already teased it. They went to Omnipotent City to recruit people. I literally thought they were going to recruit Hercules. Should have been in the movie. Doesn't matter. It's a great movie. But this scene was, you just didn't know what's going to happen. It was Kamala there with the nega band, and she gets sucked into an alternate dimension, and Carol Danvers pops out? Are you kidding? Where did that come from? Like, that's what I'm talking about. And obviously it goes into the actual powers of the nega band. They've showed on at least 2 separate occasions in the series they have an interdimensional level of power. When Aisha summoned Kamala to the past, a relative that had the nega band, at some far off point in the future, and on someone she didn't even know existed yet, she was able to summon them. So that shows you the level that these bands are on. And in this occasion as well, Kamala was able to transmit, herself or a part of herself through another dimension. I guess by thinking about Captain Marvel or her emotional connection to her, she summoned her through the bands. Like, these things aren't, I've said it many times, these things aren't for the play, and they showed it again. And obviously they're going to go deeper into what actually happened, why it happened. And come on, man. Like Nick Fury said, do not invoke her name. Like, whenever you see Captain Marvel on screen, you know something's about to go down. So just to see her on screen, they threw in not just like a kind of Easter egg, but a real Easter egg. Because I think this was the first series that brought in a character that wasn't from that particular series. Because Marvel said they were kind of trying to avoid cameos. I guess because it maybe steals the weight of the show away from the main character, so on and so forth. Because they haven't had any extra series cameos in any of these series so far. They've all been characters related to that series, so to speak. But summoning in Brie Larson into the Ms. Marvel show, Marvel still got it. I was shook. So between the first end credit scene and the second one, there's a lot that we're going to find out. We got X-Men and then Captain Marvel showing up like in an everyday scenario. I know we're building up to Secret Wars. I know we're building up to the Marvels. So they're really, they're bringing those threads in. I like that. I like that. We still don't have like a common enemy, but that's kind of splitting hairs at this point. They brought in the elements that they do best, and they're still, you know, they're still sticking to their formula. Bro, like I always say, if you become successful and you stop doing what it took to get you to that point, you're gonna be in trouble. This is life knowledge. So Marvel, maybe they saw my videos, but anyways, they remember what it took for them to get to that point. And Miss Marvel, those end credits scene, they showed that they actually remembered how they got to this point to begin with. They're both great. They both have me legitimately like shook, excited, wondering what's gonna happen in the future, and like, you know, very positive, very happy about the outlook of Marvel. Okay, so the episode rating. This episode actually gets a 7 out of 5. What? Yeah, a 7 out of 5. The highest rating before was a 6 out of 5 with Moon Knight episode 5, Asylum, which is, I still hold, one of the best episodes of any television series, anything committed to filming ever produced, because it really dove into like mental and emotional quote unquote health, or like things that happen, and like on a real level, not even on some like, you know, comic book or like, you know, superhero stuff, on a personal level. And they put that in the episode. Like, go back and watch Moon Knight episode 5 if you haven't. It's transformative. I gave it a 6 out of 5 because it's like, it was just amazing. It was amazing. And then to see someone triumph over their quote unquote mental difficulties and just get past, you know, whatever happened in the past. They put it in that episode, like, I want to say perfectly, so artistically, that it surpassed, like, you know, episode ratings. I gave it a 6 out of 5 because it was that great. Well, this actually gets a 7 out of 5 because mainly it was those end credit scenes, because they were reminiscent of those original Marvel days. They were so good. Kamal's a mutant. The music in the Pakistani, you know, chords. Carol Danvers showing up out of nowhere. The Negaman's transporting through dimensions. Like, who? If you tell me you expected that, you're capping. Like, you're lying. No one expected that, and it was that good. And that's why they deserve a 7 out of 5. This episode, because it was on fleek, man. It was legit. It was an awesome episode. So now for the series rating, as I do any series or movie, I give the actual rating of the overall thing. This series gets a 5 out of 5. It gets a 5 out of 5, and it deserves it. It was an awesome series from top to bottom. There were just so many good elements. Iman Vellani's acting was like, it held the whole series down. Her emotional variety, her actual presence on camera, you know, all the supporting cast. Man, don't even get me started. The visual effects, the actual story itself. It was just, from top to bottom, they put every element in. They didn't skimp on anything, and that's what made it so great. It was a solid series. I can't really hold anything against it. As far as before I get to that, and then they had the presence of, this series probably did more for Islamic world relations than anything that's ever been produced. I'm 30 years old, so I've seen a few things, you know, just on TV and the movies. That mosque scene and that festival scene were like transcendent, visionary as far as like just portraying Islamic culture of anything I've ever seen in my entire life, because they showed Islamic people, the Muslim religion, as just as normal people living life. I can't overstate that enough. I can't overstate it. When they showed them in that mosque just like cracking jokes, it wasn't like, oh, like I said in the actual review, this is a documentary or like, you know, inside look on Islamic people. Nah, it was regular people like enjoying life, and they're cracking jokes, you know, having fun. And that festival scene, like, I'm sure Islamic people vibed with that so hard, because it probably showed what one of those events is actually like, or like being there, you know, what it really is. You know, like the inside jokes and like the vibes and just the actual energy of being there. I know it was accurate. I could feel it being accurate. So I know a lot of people are like, yo, they got us down. Like, that's what it actually is to be like that. Like I said, this ain't some documentary, this ain't no expose. It was real life, real people living life that just happened to be Islamic or Muslim. And it was so accurate and so authentic and just almost pure. You know, it was just like people living life. You can't take away from that. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life, to this day, in any form of media. So to see it in a Marvel show, to see it in Miss Marvel, this is a true story. Like, I'm not making this up. This really happened. It was just so amazing, and it was so good. Haven't seen anything like that in any form of media. Shout out Islamic people, shout out Muslim religion, shout out Marvel. They just did it so accurately, so much emotion, so heartfelt. You got to take your hat off to that. So yeah, I mean, then there's that aspect. Kamala's powers, the end credits, I can go on and on. But the series gets a 5 out of 5. It's still, even though it has all those positives, it has everything going for it. I still can't put it above WandaVision. WandaVision still has the #1 spot. That was Marvel's first TV show that they released when no one knew what was going on with these Disney Plus shows. We didn't know anything. We didn't know what to expect. We had no clue. And they dropped WandaVision, and even after the first episode, a lot of people, including myself, were like, you know, what is this? But it's Marvel. I'm gonna keep watching it. You know, I'm a dedicated fan. So, you know, I was gonna stick around to see what happened. Not disappointed. WandaVision is just, it was transcendent. And I could go into why WandaVision was actually, you know, on the level it was in a separate video. But suffice it to say, it took what I would call spiritual elements and put them into a TV show. There was fighting in the show, but it didn't happen to the latter half. And it was dope. They finally gave Vision his muscles back. He was swole again. He hadn't been swole since they first made him in Age of Ultron, when Thor summoned him out the liquid. Like, you know, they made him powerful again. And he was squabbing. It showed why you actually can't mess with Vision. But that came in the latter half of the series. It was a lot of introspection, alternate dimensions, psychic elements. Yeah, WandaVision is still the #1 Marvel show. I might actually give that a 6 out of 5. I had to go back and think about the rating again, but it's still #1. But Miss Marvel leapt over everything to the #2 spot with a clean 5 out of 5, and it is the second best Marvel show they've ever produced, and very much so deserving of every bit of a 5 out of 5. Okay, so what do we got here? We are in the heart of the summer. You can see me sweating. So She-Hulk comes out in less than a month. It's crazy, man. Every time I say something comes out in a month, it feels like 2 days before I'm saying, like, you know, it comes out in a week, or I'm about to review it. She-Hulk is about to be out. Believe that. Black Panther, as I've said many times, is the mystery film. All we know is that it hasn't been canceled. I've only seen that, you know, the movie poster that I'll show here, and I saw the cardboard cutout in a movie theater, so I know it still exists. I know it's still coming out. I know it hasn't been canceled. That's what I know. So, you know, I'm excited for that. You know that review's coming out. You know what I'm about, so be ready for that. And yo, that's all I got for y'all. Stay up, stay cool, stay frosty. Peace.